Ladies and gentlemen, there's an update on the student loan moratorium. It will continue on until August 31st, 2022, which is silly to me. But let's go on. The student loan pause has been extended until the end of the summer. Well, August 31st is not the end of your summer. The end of your summer is in September. No wonder why education is bad in America. The Biden administration announced Wednesday that it is again extending the moratorium on federal student loan payments, interest, and collections, this time until the end of summer, August 31st. The U.S. Department of Education also unveiled a plan to reset the roughly 7 million borrowers who are in default, using the pandemic pause to restore their account to good standing. We are still recovering from the pandemic, and you're not recovering, you're still in it. Well, these people are in such denial about everything. You're not recovering something, it's still going on. Oh, man. We are still recovering from the pandemic like it's over. It's not over. And the unprecedented economic disruption it caused, said President Joe Biden in a statement announcing the extension. If loan payments were to resume on schedule in May, analysis of recent data from the Federal Reserve suggests that millions of student loan borrowers would face significant economic hardship and delinquencies, and default could threaten American financial stability. Well, that's going to happen if you don't extend it beyond August 31st. So, what's going to happen between May and August where things are going to get better? The loan repayment freeze began in March of 2020 at the beginning of the pandemic, and now last it will last at least a little longer than 2.5 years, an unprecedented respite in the financial lives of tens of millions of borrowers. According to the latest department data, 500,000 federal student loan borrowers are out of more than $43 million have been repaying their loans during the pause. This is the seventh time the moratorium have been extended by the Trump and Biden administrations, according to the Education Department Office of Federal Student Loan Aid. The latest extension comes after reports of department emails to loan servicers telling them not to communicate with borrowers about the previous repayment deadline of May 1st. Why don't you just forgive it? Why are you going through all of this? The extension, while expected, comes with at least one surprise. It's shorter than many Democrats had hoped for. Yeah, August 31st from May, that's really nothing. Senator Patty Murphy, chair of the Senate Education Committee, tweeted earlier this week that the payment pause has got to be extended until at least 2023. With rising costs and still build back from the pandemic is not the time to make borrowers start paying again. Exactly. That's why you should forgive the whole thing. News of the extension through August also drew tepid response from borrowers, advocates. The Biden administration should absolutely extend the payment pause. But the pause is a temporary measure that should be in service of a longer term fix. Or borrowers may be back in the same crunch 4 months from now. Yeah, what the hell is a 4 month extension? Oh boy, y'all! One day these folks won't be in charge anymore. That's the only thing that's keeping us going. The shorter extension also puts Biden in a precarious political position of asking millions of voters to resume loan payments on the eve of November's midterm elections, unless he does what many experts expect him to do and simply issue another extension over the summer. The at White House should be honest about what they're doing and announce they'll turn the loan portfolio on the election day, tweeted Trump former education secretary Betsy DeVos. Boy, nobody wants to see her again. The extension is deeply unpopular with Biden's Republican critics, who pointed out that the pause on interest and payments has cost the federal government at least $95 billion. Dollars. Y'all shouldn't be complaining about nothing since you love giving all the money to the Ukrainians. In March, NPR reported this extension was likely to top the Republicans on the House Education Committee. Virginia Fox of North Carolina responded another repayment freeze only begets unfairness and inevitably leveled at both taxpayers and responsible borrowers alike. Well, this ain't good news as far as I'm concerned. Perhaps the biggest news today wasn't the extension itself, which was the worst kept secret in Washington for weeks, but this vague line from the Education Department's press release. The department will continue to assess the financial impacts of the pandemic on student loan borrowers and to prepare to transition borrowers smoothly back into repayment. This includes allowing all borrowers with paused loans to receive a fresh start on repayment by eliminating the impact of delinquency and default and allowing them to re enter repayment in good standing. This is big news for the roughly 7 million borrowers whose federal student loans are currently in default, many of whom had wages garnished and Social Security benefits withheld before the pandemic. When the pause, why are y'all? I'm sorry, I don't mean no harm, but I just don't understand why they can't just forgive this. Because think about it, if you hit the fourth month and let's say they allow payments to start back up, people are going to just default again. I mean, they are. They're going to just default again. When the pause eventually end, those collections will not resume and these borrowers will be restored to good standing. Normally, to exit default, the education department requires that the borrower coordinates with the default focus loan servicing company and make 9 reasonable and affordable monthly payments within 20 days of the due date and make them over the course of 10 consecutive months. With the restart, however, the Biden administration is using its pandemic authority and the ongoing repayment pause to waive this rehabilitation process. During the pause, we will continue to prepare to give borrowers a fresh start and to ensure that all borrowers have access to repayment plans that meet their financial situations and needs. This is according to the Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said in a statement. Wow. I just don't see how this is a help. It is unclear if borrowers will also have their access to federal student loan aid restored meaning they can potentially take out new student loans, something borrowers in default cannot do. Nearly half of all defaulters have never finished college or lose access to federal financial aid, can make it especially challenging to go back and finish a degree. For far too long, defaulted borrowers have slipped through the cracks and been made to suffer at the hands of the Department of Education punitive collection system. So we applaud the Biden administration decision to pull millions of borrowers out of default and give them a fresh start. Well, y'all, all I got to say is, in my opinion, this is not good enough. It really isn't. And yeah, remember, this is an election year. So they're probably going to push it back until December because they seem to love these little baby step ways of doing everything. Oh boy. Mm-mm-mm. Y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.